Secretary Hegseth, are you familiar with DoD Directive 1344.10? Political activities of the members of the armed forces?
First off, I don't buy into your
yes or no?
insinuation
Are you familiar
that pledges
with,
are being done under this administration. That's
I reclaim my
insinuation.
time. Are you familiar with this DoD directive?
There's never one time in my service or in this
Mr.
Defense
Secretary,
Department.
will you please answer
I'm answering your
these
question.
questions?
Pete Hegseth didn't just lose his cool, he went full meltdown mode, and it all happened in front of the cameras. What started as a heated discussion quickly turned into live TV chaos when Congressman Pat Ryan decided to go straight for the jugular.
Mr. Secretary, I don't say this lightly. I have to say this on the record. I think your tenure as Secretary of Defense has been shameful and weak, and you should resign.
No sugarcoating, no polite sparring. Ryan pulled out receipts, challenged Hegseth point blank, and left him scrambling to defend himself.
Service member.
Are you familiar with this directive? Yes or no?
You could almost see the steam coming out of Hegseth's ears as his composure cracked. This wasn't your typical political back and forth. This was a public unmasking, and the whole country was watching.
Again, I totally reject your insinuation.
But guess what? Pat Ryan didn't just grill Pete Hegseth. He practically put him on trial right there on live TV, exposing what he saw as a dangerous rot creeping into today's politicized Pentagon. Ryan made it crystal clear. Serving in the military means defending the Constitution, not pledging fealty to any political leader.
Which directive?
DoD Directive 1344.10. I'm happy to provide you a copy. There's even a one-page red and green cheat sheet. Are you familiar with it? This is the same directive from when we were all in uniform.
I'm sure I am.
He zeroed in on the Fort Bragg scandal, where junior officers were reportedly pressured into swearing a political loyalty oath, something straight out of an Orwellian nightmare dressed up as patriotism. And then, Ryan dropped the real bombshell, a blunt, no-nonsense call for Hegseth to step down. This wasn't for show. It was a public demand for accountability.
Has anything changed in that directive under your guidance, given what happened 2 days ago at Fort Bragg? Is there a new policy change that we're not aware of?
Again, I totally reject your insinuation.
Is there a policy change to DoD Directive 1344.10?
I know what you're attempting to insinuate, but there's
I'll
no
take that as a
policy
no.
change and there is no policy.
Mr. Secretary,
While Ryan did acknowledge Hegseth's earlier stance on keeping the military neutral, no MAGA caps, no campaign swag, that only made the current accusations cut deeper. Because once the Secretary of Defense starts erasing the line between soldier and political mouthpiece, the bedrock principle of civilian control over the military starts to fracture.
have you ever worn a MAGA hat in front of the troops?
I own plenty of MAGA hats, but I don't.
Have you
know
ever
that I
worn
have.
one in front of the troops at an official event? I don't
I'm
believe
aware
so.
of.
This was the moment the military tried to find its moral footing again, and it came from General Kane himself. He flat out refused to make soldiers swear loyalty to the commander-in-chief just to be part of an event.
General Kane, I want to start with you. As a junior officer, were you ever required to make a pledge of political loyalty? Yes or no?
Sir, as you know, we're
General,
an apolitical
I have limited
military,
time.
so, no.
Thank you. At any time in your 30-plus years of incredibly distinguished service, did you have to make a pledge of partisan or political loyalty?
No, sir.
In doing so, he drew a clear, unshakable line between serving the country and blindly following a political leader. That wasn't just taking a stand, it was a direct pushback against the slow creep of authoritarianism into the ranks.
Thank you. Did you ever serve in any unit or command at any level where service members were required to make a pledge of political loyalty?
No, sir.
Thank you, and I want to commend you. You've been on the record on this, including in your confirmation hearings, where you clarified, quote, "I've never worn any political merchandise or said anything to that effect." I appreciate that. That is the standard, and I commend you for saying so and continuing to model that.
But that's not all. At the same time, Pat Ryan came in swinging. He tore into Secretary Pete Hegseth for what he described as a shameful politicization of the Army, from orders that seemed aimed at silencing opposing political views to the Fort Bragg debacle, where MAGA merch was flaunted like part of the official dress code. But guess what? Ryan even called for Pete's resignation, and it wasn't a stunt. It was the warning of someone watching the military transform into a campaign stage.
I don't believe so. Do you think it's appropriate for the President of the United States to wear political merchandise, including a MAGA hat, at official events, including West Point commencement?
The commander-in-chief
Yes or no?
can wear whatever hat he wants, to include the phrase "Make America Great Again," because I would like
So
to
you
make
think
America
that's-
great again as well.
So you think that's appropriate?
The commander-in-chief has the right in front of his troops to wear whatever he'd like.
Okay, I strongly disagree with you.
Because when party allegiance starts outweighing the oath to the Constitution, the danger isn't just theoretical. The Republic edges dangerously close to collapse. And if you think this was it, trust me, it gets worse ahead. Ryan didn't hold back. He came in swinging, and every point hit its mark. In a tense back and forth, he put Secretary Pete Hegseth on the spot, demanding clear answers on something that should matter to every American: the growing politicization of our military.
I agree with you. And I urge you both, especially you, General Kane, as we see an increasingly political rhetoric, including from the Secretary, to please, for the good of our troops, this is an incredibly difficult moment, and we need leaders like you to continue to echo the apolitical nature.
But the heated argument didn't end there, as Ryan zeroed in on one big question. Did Hegseth even know about the Department of Defense rule that clearly says service members can't take part in political activity? This isn't some tiny detail buried in a rule book. It's a core principle meant to keep the military neutral and protect our democracy from turning into a political circus. Ryan's tone wasn't just doubtful, it was frustrated. Because if the Secretary of Defense can't or won't admit to a basic rule that safeguards the military's neutrality, then it's not just bad leadership, it's a betrayal of the very institution he's meant to protect. This wasn't just questioning, it was a masterclass in dismantling political doublespeak. Pat Ryan didn't lob softballs at Pete Hegseth, he boxed him in with cold, hard facts. By bringing up Department of Defense Directive 134.410, Ryan forced Hegseth to face the real question. Has the policy actually changed, or is he just gaslighting the public?
Secretary Hegseth, are you familiar with DoD Directive 1344.10? Political activities of the members of the armed forces?
Well, first off, I don't buy into
yes
your
or no?
insinuation
Are you familiar
that pledges
with,
are being done under this administration. That's
I reclaim my
insinuation.
time. Are you familiar with this DoD directive?
There's never one time in my service or in this
Mr.
Defense
Secretary,
Department.
will you please answer
I'm answering your
these
question.
questions?
If nothing in the policy has changed, then Hegseth's vague talk about political expression in uniform is just smoke and mirrors. Ryan's push for him to resign wasn't for show. It was a clear accusation that Hegseth has turned the military into a political prop. While Ryan pressed for straight answers, Hegseth focused on defending the president's right to wear a MAGA hat at official events, as if that somehow wipes away decades of military protocol.
Have you ever worn a MAGA hat in front of the troops?
I own plenty of MAGA hats, but I don't.
Have you ever worn one in front of the troops at an official event? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. Do you think it's appropriate for the President of the United States to wear political merchandise, including a MAGA hat, at official events, including West Point commencement?
The Commander-in-Chief
Yes or no?
can wear whatever hat he wants, to include the phrase "Make America Great Again," because I would like to make America great again as well.
So you think that's appropriate?
The Commander-in-Chief has the right in front of his troops to wear whatever he'd like.
Okay, I strongly disagree with you.
It was a distraction, pure and simple, because if the Secretary of Defense is more worried about justifying campaign merch than protecting the military's neutrality, then he's not defending the Constitution, he's defending a cult of personality. Ryan didn't hold back. In a sharp, no-nonsense rebuke, he called Hegseth's tenure both shameful and weak, and you could feel the tension shift in that hearing room. He even urged Hegseth to resign in front of a large audience, which was humiliating for him and highlighted his failure to fulfill his responsibilities.
I have 12 seconds. Mr. Secretary, I don't say this lightly. I have to say this on the record. I think your tenure as Secretary of Defense has been shameful and weak, and you should resign.
This wasn't political theater. It was a direct challenge to a man Ryan believes has failed to safeguard the core values of the U.S. military. And weakness here wasn't about muscle. It was about moral cowardice, about letting partisan influence creep into the ranks while ignoring clear violations of military neutrality. Ryan's demand for resignation wasn't just a headline. It was a battle cry for accountability. Because if the nation's top defense official cares more about pleasing political allies than protecting the Constitution, then he has no business sitting anywhere near the Pentagon. That's it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching.